Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Elmia Farhana binti Embu Taha. I am from group 4F1. Okay, for the site organisation topic for project and construction management, I was assigned as a civil and structural engineer. And for today, I would like to share with you a reality life about the CNS engineer. And in the next slides, I will explain more about who is the CNS engineer, the job scopes of civil and structural engineer, the duties and the skills that need to be prepared before we becoming a CNS engineer, and while we are assigned as a civil and structural engineer. And the last one is the responsibilities that must be carried out when we were assigned as a civil and structural engineer. So I will explain it later in the next slides. Okay. First of all, let's begin with the definition of civil engineering. Civil engineering is a branch of engineering that deals with the design, construction and maintenance of the physical and naturally created environment, such as roads, bridges, canals, dams, airports, sewerage system, pipelines, building, structural components and railways. Okay, next, I will explain to you who is the civil engineer. Civil engineers are responsible for creating, improving and protecting the environment in which we live. They plan, design and supervise the development and maintenance of building structures and infrastructures such as highway, trains, airports and so on. They also design and construct tall skyscrapers and massive constructions that can resist all types of weather. Civil engineers are divided into two categories, which is consultant engineers and contracting engineers. Consultants are in charge of project design and work primarily in an office setting. Contractors then take the plan and put them into action during the construction process. Plus, contractors manage the construction on the job site. Okay, next, structural engineers. Structural engineer is responsible to design all the structures such as beam, column, footing and so on. They also need to study and determine the best option of the design structures before proceeding into construction phase. Plus, structural engineer also need to identify the materials used for structure design. This is very important since the type of materials will definitely affect the load to be considered in any design. The job is very closely with civil engineer because of the terms used for both jobs is CNS engineer. Means that both engineers can do each other tasks and duties. Then there are some skills that need to be considered before we are assigned as a CNS engineer. First of all, technical competence. Secondly, strong numeracy and IT skills, which mean we have to know and have knowledge in mathematical and also the IT skills. Excellent communication and team working skill. Ability to work to budget and deadlines, which mean the cost and also the period of the duration of the construction project. Knowledge of relevant building legislation. Attention to detail combined with the ability to oversee large projects. Next is negotiation and leadership skills. We are an engineer, so we are the leader for all the workers. So we must have the leadership skills in order to make the communication will going smoothly. Next is creative problem solving. And the last one is a flexible approach. We have to be a flexible person in order to ensure the communication will be delivered, all the info will be delivered all to the workers, and they are easily approach us to ask any question or any problem. Okay, the last one is I will explain about the responsibilities that need to be carried out as a CNS engineer. First of all, A CNS engineer need to carry out technical and feasibilities assessment as well as site inspection. Next, develop details design, visit and supervise contractors on the job site, as well as provide civil engineering advice. We know that a consultant or civil CNS engineer need to have a good communication with the CNS contractors. Then, supervise the work of junior staff or mentor civil engineers throughout the careership process. Next, think both creatively and logically to tackle design and development difficulties. Be adaptive as the client's opinion on the design may change, and make sure all necessary stakeholders are informed of any modification of the project. We know that each client has their own opinion and their own demand. So we have to be professional and be adaptive so that all the modification will be satisfied. Next is review, approve project drawings and use computer-aided design such as AutoCAD to package for designing projects. And the last one is correct any project deficiencies that affect production, quality and safety requirements before final evaluation and the project reviews. Okay, so for more information, all of you can visit the link that I have been attached in my slide so that you can get extra knowledge of CNS engineer. Okay, last but not least, what can I conclude is a site organization is one of the most important elements in the pre-construction phase, because without the site organization, we cannot start the construction phase. And secondly, when we were assigned as any position, especially an engineer, we need to be honest and responsible in our duties, because we are the role model for the other workers. We are their leader. When we make mistake and we repeat the mistake, they will do the same thing, or might be the worst thing that will affect the construction quality. So be responsible and be a professional engineer. That's all from me. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and goodbye.